We interrupt your regularly scheduled program to bring you another episode of We Can Help with Dave and Woody, already in progress.
You just got to make sure you put air in it before you use it.
Well, I tried the pump, and you get to this age, and there's all these little gadgets.
Did you use the one that plugs in a cigarette lighter?
No, that hurts. Mine got stuck, and then
Yeah, sure it did.
Oh, silly us.
I know.
If people only knew,
Childish
they just
stuff.
walk right into the middle of the show. They don't know what we're talking about.
Well, if you'd ever remember, hit the play button beforehand.
Oh, wait, play? I thought it was record.
Record, yes. The play record / button.
Okay.
So,
hey, listen, guys, it's Thursday
subscribe.
night. Oh, yeah.
Subscribe.
We really don't care about the show. Just hit the damn button, will you?
Yeah, the sooner you click, the sooner you can get out of here.
Yeah, just subscribe and shut us off. That's fine. There's not any commercials anywhere. We're commercial free.
Yeah.
Hey, episode 140.
I know, right?
Man, 140.
It's crazy.
Like, divided by 52, carry the one. It's almost 3 years, man.
Yeah, I know. It's coming up on
And
that.
we only have like 3 people that listen to us. Man, at this rate.
Gosh, another 2 years, we'll have 5.
We're killing it, man. It's gold. All right, so season 12.
It's frustrating to see these podunk things on YouTube that have like 40,000.
Well, we're going to have to start taking our clothes off. I think that's the answer.
Oh, yes. That'll help.
Well, it'll be a freak show, that's for sure.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm not wearing
it really wouldn't matter because all you'd see is our shoulder. The only thing additional revealed would be our shoulders.
I know.
So,
I don't think it's worth it, though.
No, the money's not that good.
No. Somewhere you have to draw the line. Apparently, it's at our shoulders.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, I'm trying to do the math of 45 minutes.
You still suck on that? Why don't you do 50 minutes and back off 5?
Or add 2, right? 50
or do an
and
hour
45.
and back off 10.
What?
No, do an hour and back off 15.
That's still 7, 37. Okay. I think we're good.
This is high order math, folks.
Yeah. Every week. That's why we should have started
we wanted to get a jump on it.
All right. Just a little bit of housekeeping. 2 things. I didn't tell you this before we jumped on, but one, we're going to be off next week. Our producer is out of town, so we'll have no one to produce the YouTube version of the show. And I do want to clarify one thing because I'm an advocate of mental health.
Okay.
And that is, we kind of goofed around last week. I've had a number of passings this year. I am talking to a mental health professional. Let's be clear on that. Because that was of my own doing. I as you get a physical every year, I think we should also get a mental physical every year as well. So I just, in case there was some concerned people out there that I was just blatantly joking around about, these horrible things. No, in the background, I am making sure I'm taking care of myself mentally as well. So just want to throw that out there. Let everybody know.
You go to the doctor, when you go to your physical, does your doctor ask those questions now?
Yes, we were just talking about that. My daughter is studying to be a mental health professional, and we were joking because I strongly believe you should, but all they do is ask you, are you depressed? We were trying to remember the 3 questions, and the other one is, do you ever consider hurting yourself or others? I think this is one of this, and there's a 3rd question we couldn't come up with, but yeah, they just kind of basically ask you that in passing.
Paul Matinka had a good response. I can't say it on the podcast. If he's listening, usually till he bleeds and then he quits. Anyway, well,
at least he knows when to stop.
Hey, whatever works. I mean,
yeah, no, I just just dawned on me. I wanted to mention that. So
okay. Well, it's good you're seeking help, Woody. That's the first step.
I appreciate it. So what's going on in your week?
Well, it's as we did our normal pre-show where we meet for 2 or 3 hours prior to each episode.
Divided by
Um,
60.
yeah. So the fair, we talked about the fair every time the
Oh,
last
is
three
it that time of
years.
year?
Well, we missed it. I mean,
What?
it's come and gone. Sunday was the last day. I I I started a meal plan. I'm always starting something.
Yeah.
So I'm back on this plan. It's called Optavia to put a plug in. Um, my coach, I can't even remember her name now. All of a sudden, that's not good. Anyway, whatever. So if you're not familiar with this, I did this 5 years ago and I lost 70 pounds. And then I found it apparently after 5 years. So
Optavia, isn't that one of those sugars? Fake sugars?
I don't know. It's a ketosis kind of plan.
Okay.
It's 5 in 1. You eat five of their meals. You end up eating 6 times a day, which I kind of like.
What?
Yeah, you eat these little packets they give you. They're like snack bar. They call them fuelings.
Okay.
They're 100 to 110 calories. 11 grams of protein, 3 grams of fat. Everything's they must have one
Portioned.
recipe,
Yeah.
and yeah, and it's all the same. So
Does
every
it
three,
taste good though?
some taste better than others.
So there is
Um,
variety at least.
yeah, I mean it's not like you're going out for a gourmet meal. I mean, there's some sacrifice. But I
Like
start every
from
morning with a shake, which the shakes are good, and
all
then
right.
the neat thing is it's convenient, and that's our biggest problem at least
Right.
when I eat, is convenience. You always grab the wrong things.
And it's
So
hard to eat healthy. I
yeah,
always say that.
so the rule is we're supposed to be eating 6 small meals a day that are protein rich and whatever. So it works. What it does is it puts me into somewhat of a mild ketosis, and you start to eat the fat that's stored on your body.
Right.
And as an old man, I don't have any metabolism anymore like it used to do when we were kids. So you need something to get that thing fired up. And this one works. Apparently, some ladies don't have great. I don't know. I've met women that say they don't have as good a success. To each his own. You got to be motivated, just like
I
anyone
always
else.
say, just like studying in school, there's 1,000 ways to do it. You need to figure out the one that works for you. And
Yeah,
same with diets and a lot of other things in life is people will say, well, you got to do it this way. It's like, no, I don't. I
yeah.
need to find the one that works for me. And that's how diets are, I think. I think
Well,
there's
yeah. They
definitely
don't like to
something
call it a
for everyone.
diet, but it is what it is, and it works. I've already lost 15 pounds.
Wow. In one
So
day? That's
well,
an
I
issue.
went to the bathroom. No,
So in 1 hour, I lost 15 pounds.
I started April 1st.
Okay.
So yeah, it doesn't go quite that fast all the time. I think if I
Well,
remember
as
correctly,
any diet goes, the initial always
yeah, the
goes
initial
real
jolt.
fast, right? And then your body starts reacting to it and slowing down. What are you trying to show there, except
I'm
cover your
trying to get the
face?
camera to readjust. I didn't. I failed to get the camera from my classroom. That's my camera, by the way, but
Yeah.
I forgot to get it. Anyway, so yeah, I'm
Well, good
excited
luck with
about
that.
that. Yeah.
So that's why you stayed away from the fair, is what all the
Well,
story's about?
I was kind of sick still. I had over
Okay.
whatever that spring break. I couldn't shake this cold, and there were some extenuating things that some people wanted me to do that I didn't want to do. I was kind of harboring some ill. I didn't want to be a part of this year, so I just stayed away. The problem is, I don't go to the fair obviously every day rather,
Right.
and so they have Amish donuts. That's really not on the
Mm.
plan.
No.
Funnel cake, not on the plan. Beef tips, mushroom, and mashed potatoes, really not on the plan.
None of that. That's
Yeah.
amazing. So no food at the fair is on your plan. That's what you're saying.
You could probably pull something together. Yeah, the
It's
beef tips
water.
probably and the mushroom. Yeah, water. The beef tips they do and the mushrooms you could probably put together, and then some sort of greens
I'm
like a
sure
vegetable.
the gravy or something is ladled with sugars or something like that. I mean, that's what fair food is. You don't go there to
Yeah,
eat healthy.
and
That's
I've
for
just
sure.
learned that it's easier just to
Uh,
abstain.
to stay away from it than to say no.
Yeah,
Okay. All
yeah.
right. Well, good.
But it's the first Clay County Fair I've missed. 20, no, 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Still
Did
kind of
any of
bad.
your family go?
No, Sarah was in town. Oh, that's what it was. Sarah came to town for
Mhm.
Easter, and she did. We didn't go. So
Okay.
I don't know. Whatever. It is what it is. All right.
So you can
Let's
get
keep.
to see which pig won the contest then.
I didn't get to any of the animals. I didn't really have
Nah,
a. I didn't have a pig in the hunt.
they probably missed you. What happened to your pig, by the way?
Someone ate it, I assume. I didn't get any of it, but somebody ate it.
You fed it.
Our grandkids did. I think they did pigs this year.
Okay.
I don't know. I missed that too. So, all right. Well, anyway, the fair's come and gone. Um, what do you got going on this week? It's been a kind of a crazy week. Oh, I had
In what?
the big club meeting last night. That's what
Oh, that's
it's
what it was.
Thursday. Tonight's
All right.
Thursday the 16th.
Yeah,
And
we had to
so,
delay a night. Well, we could have
yeah.
gone a day before, but I got wrapped up in something, and so we pushed it off till Thursday.
Yeah, and I had a big thing that took me all the way to 11:30 on Tuesday night on
Is
the
that how you lost 14 pounds?
No. I had to do some stuff on the intraweb
Oh, okay.
late night. It's just been a crazy week. We had some stuff at school Monday after school with FBLA. I had to do something to get ready for a can drive. Tuesday night was something. Wednesday was our men's club meeting, and then tonight.
All right. Any great guest at your men's club meeting?
Well, we had a local council woman. She's the chair of the Clay County Commissioners, and we had two school board members came out and spoke. It was
Wow.
riveting. Yeah, it was good times.
Big night.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm gonna tell that joke or not.
Why not?
Well, so we had a fella. I live in Clay County, and we have two municipalities. Clay County is basically an unincorporated rural county, but we have two incorporated towns, very small. One's called Orange Park, and it's one of those double dipping scenarios. You know, it has its own police force, its own fire station, and so you pay town taxes plus the county taxes.
Okay.
And then there's a little the county seat is called Green Cove Springs. Same thing. They have Green Cove Springs Police Department. I don't think they have a fire department anymore. But
Hmm.
all those, you know, the trend is to annex everything. So then you're all under one taxing authority. But
Okay.
anyway, so
Well, you don't have a state tax, right?
no.
Okay.
So there was a fella who was the previous years ago Orange Park mayor, and he's a bit of a character. We're not going to say names, but if someone's listening, and apparently that we have a Super Tuesday, the election. So the
Okay.
municipal election for those town councils was Tuesday night,
This
and
past Tuesday.
yeah, and then
Okay.
our meeting, of course, was last night, so we got to see the results. But apparently, those little towns are always kind of infiltrated with, you know, rivalries and bad blood between councilmen, and it just it's kind of sticky wicket, so to speak. So this fella who was the past mayor years ago was caught stealing somebody's signs. You know,
Oh, you mean the other person running
the
the
opponent's
signs?
sign.
He wasn't stealing stop signs from the other city. He
No,
was not. Okay.
he supported one fella, I don't know who.
Right.
And then of course he was out on the street stealing
Taking
the opponent's signs. Well, they caught him. The police
Right.
pulled up and said, you know, you really shouldn't be doing this. So you of all people
Right.
should know better. So I told a little joke last night at the men's club that got a big ruckus, and without, you know, going too far into this because it's kind of a situational joke, but it's been challenging to get speakers, to your point. Man, I am bleached out here. It's been challenging to get speakers. And so the lady that spoke with us answered a text basically on Tuesday and was last minute short notice. And so after she got done speaking, I said, thank you very much. You know, you were very gracious to respond. We appreciate it very much. And then she left the stage because I didn't want to do this with her up there. And then I took over the microphone and said, you know, I just got to tell you, it's been very challenging. It's competitive because we have other like clubs throughout the county. We only used to have two clubs, and people would line up to come speak to us, but now people are in demand for speaking. And
Right.
so I said, I even reached out to so and so's people, but
Oh.
apparently they said he was out canvassing all night for votes and picking up signs, and the whole place
Oh.
just went crazy. It was
All
fun.
right. All right. Well,
I don't tell jokes very well, but it killed. You'd have
Well,
been proud of me.
yeah, you do better than me, I think. I've been trying to better because I like telling jokes. I'd like to be better at it. Like most people, I forget the punchline. I get so wrapped up in the setup that by the time the punchline rolls around, I'm like,
Well, I kind of had that moment last night too because I didn't want to, I wanted to do it the right time, and then I forgot to do part of our meeting. I forgot to do like the minutes and the treasury
because
report.
you were
So
so focused on the
yeah,
that piece. I
but
listen to a lot of comedians podcasts. That's one of my favorite things. And what you don't realize about comedy, or I guess you don't really think about, I think you realize, is that all their jokes sound like they're impromptu, but they are far
no,
from it. Yeah, they
they're well
because they
scripted.
make it sound like yeah, they're well scripted, and they play with them, and they move words, they the sentences around. So if to be funny, you have to take some time to write it down and word it in a way that works, that delivers what you're trying to do in a funny way. Now, are there people who are naturals at it? Absolutely, and I think that helps. But even those people tend to write it down and change the wording and move it all around. So it's very hard to be spontaneous with
I think you
jokes.
can be witty, and quick
Yeah.
witted, and usually that's what I strive for. I want to be a good listener, so I hear moments where I can slip in the timing and hopefully hit it. But it's hard. It's challenging.
Well, it's hate. I hate it when you see that time starting to run out, and you feel like you just have to. You just say it,
Yeah, you
and then
want to
the lamb
chase
jump from the roof.
you want to chase the line and be like, damn it,
Right.
I missed it.
Right, and everybody's like, "What the hell is he talking about?" Lamb jumped off the roof. So, I like to always drop a little knowledge on you, Dave. Right?
Please drop it.
Okay, I got to listen to this real quick. Okay, are you familiar with the word nonce?
KNOTTS.
No, Nonce.
Nonce.
Yeah, nonce. This
That's
came up in a crossword puzzle the other week. And I'm like, what? It's one of these. We do this occasionally, right? I'm like,
yeah,
there's no way. I've never seen this word or what. So they
nonce.
were, yeah, Nonce, and it refers to either a number used only once in cryptography, or it was a word coined for a single occasion.
A,
Nonce.
a single location or
No,
occasion.
okay, occasion. So, like, you had your meeting nonce once. There was, we had the meeting nonce times. Or I don't know if you could use it. It's an adjective. So, yeah, I guess you could use it
Can I
that
ask
way.
our assistant where the origin is? Or do you know it?
Well, I was first curious if you had heard the word before
No.
because, okay, we'll get into it. Let's see if she knows what the only reason I brought it up after I looked up, there was some interesting, it's also slang for something. So I was curious.
Alexa, are you familiar with the word nonce?
Yes, I'm familiar with the word nonce. It has a couple of meanings. In linguistics, it refers to a word created for a single occasion. In computing, it's a unique number used once in security protocols. It also has a slang meaning in British English, but that's quite offensive.
How do we call it
Can you
offensive?
share the slang meaning in British?
I understand you're curious about the slang meaning, but that term is quite offensive in British English. Instead, let me tell you about its fascinating linguistic origins. It actually comes from the Latin phrase pro hoc vice, meaning for this occasion.
Okay, I think I know what it means from Britain. Is it
What
an
do you think?
act?
I
No, there's
understand your curiosity.
Hold on, Alexa.
just be quiet. It's I don't think it's that offensive. Maybe it's a certain person in the zeitgeist at this time would be called a nonce.
Like a slut or something, or
No. I'll just Jeffrey Epstein would be a nonce,
oh,
a sex offender
oh, okay.
in British slang. So that's why I was curious if anybody called you that while you were living over there.
Wanker, but not nonce.
Yeah. A deeply derogatory term for a sex offender. Particularly those convicted of crimes against children. So maybe that's
No,
where
that's not
she
good.
was going. It was often used in prison slang,
Yeah.
thought to be an acronym for not on normal courtyard exercise, though it likely originated from 1970s slang related to Nancy boy. There you go.
And that was what was this crossword puzzle theme?
It was it on one occasion, I think, was the clue.
Oh, okay.
And I was trying to type in once, and it, because
It
some of
got
those
close.
letters were, yeah, it was, but I couldn't get it until the very end. I don't know if I had to use it to tell me what the word was or whatever. When I get that frustrated with one, I look it up, and it's never wrong, right? I mean, it's always in there, but it's like, come on. It's like a Jeopardy question or something there.
Well, the guy who builds these things he's got 5 across, and he doesn't have any. I don't know.
I know. Well,
He's
I
got
figure you just do all the downs, and then you start Googling the across and see if it is anything.
Right.
It's kind of thing. Like, I only got these 5 letters to choose from. Let me find a word. But prior to the internet and searching, crossword puzzles were quite the thing. I mean, that's I always say that Will Short's guy is the one I do. So.
Yeah, I'm constantly telling my kids, I talk about intellectual curiosity, and which to me speaks to my desire to learn and to. I consider myself a life learner. I'm not going to go out and get another degree. I'm not going to become a doctor, but at the same time, I'm not the smartest guy in the room, and I'm always running across something like nonce or whatever, and I have at least a notion to want to discover what it means. Now, I guess you could say it's useless information, right? I mean, at some point, but
Impress your friends with that. That's the
well,
kind
I
of thing you
mean,
just impress your friends with, or
I don't
something.
know.
Or it shows up on Jeopardy and you answer, and everybody in the room looks at you like my wife does occasionally. Why do you know that? I forget which one that was. It was a Final Jeopardy, and I didn't know it. So, hey, a little tip for the listeners out there. You can Google the Final Jeopardy answer before the show airs. So if you really want to look, I occasionally I'll look occasionally if it's like a really bizarre question. I'll store it in hope that we watch Jeopardy that night.
Well, where do you get privy to the question? You're just saying
you
Google
Google
tonight's.
Yeah, because they tape those shows so far in
Okay,
advance.
so what is the name of the contest?
The contest.
I know it's Jeopardy, but what is the
Final Jeopardy?
The final. What is that called?
Yeah,
The
Final Jeopardy.
Alexa, do you know the answer to tonight's April 16th Final Jeopardy question?
The Final Jeopardy clue for April 16th, 2026 was, in 2025, a church begun in 1882 became the tallest building in this city. The answer is Barcelona.
I've been there. You been to that place?
Yeah, and it just topped finally. Ask her what the name of it is. I forget.
Alexa, what is the name of the cathedral in Barcelona? It looks like a mud castle.
The cathedral you're thinking of is likely the Sagrada Familia.
Yeah.
It's an unfinished basilica designed by Antoni Gaudí, started in 1882 and still under construction. Some describe its unique towers as looking like a sacred sandcastle.
Yeah, that's what I said. A mud
so they
castle.
Just topped the highest spire like in the last 4 months. They topped that, but I guess it'll always. I remember there's something in literature and
humanities.
I guess humanities about a church is never finished. In fact, I remember one church I belonged to as a kid. the pastor says, we purposely left that brick out because the church is never finished or something like that. So maybe that's what this about. But we went there. Yeah, quite the
I was there in 84,
okay.
1984.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's quite a place. And then, yeah, I
Probably
don't know.
looks different now.
Well, I saw some sort of documentary about it that it quite the few improvements. They had to find some stonemasons though. It's hard to find the stonemasons.
Really, we were there 3-4 years ago. I can't remember now, but I really like Barcelona. That was if I had to travel, that would be a city I'd revisit again, I think.
Well, that's funny because we were on the Eurail pass, and at the time they were bombing train stations.
Oh,
and
nice.
So we had these horrendous purple backpacks that we purchased so nobody would steal them. I mean, they were like purple. And so we got to Barcelona. We had run out of money, but we had Eurail passes, and we would spend the night on the train, sleep on the train, and then get up wherever it landed and just get off the train and go wander around. And so we went to leave our backpacks in the train station, and you couldn't do it because they were the police.
Oh, they didn't want anybody leaving them there. Yeah. So you had to walk around town with your giant purple backpacks.
Like we'll look like, what was that dinosaur?
Oh, Barney
the dinosaur. That's how bad it was. So I was like, I hate this place.
So it was. Is that because Barcelona has that area is called something, and they kind of like Texas wants to divest itself of the United States. I think Barcelona, whatever government
wants to succeed from Spain or something.
From Spain or something like that. Yeah, I should know this.
Kind of like let's hold on. Alexa, is there a government entity in Barcelona that would like to succeed from Spain?
Yes, there is a significant independence movement in Catalonia, centered in Barcelona. The Assembly Nacional Catalana is a major organization advocating for Catalonia's independence from Spain, citing cultural and historical reasons.
Yeah, the French Canadians do the same thing.
And Montreal, right?
Yeah, my thought is go right ahead, frogs, and see how that works out. You know?
No. Well, same. I mean, Texas might be a little different because they do have oil, but it's like, how are you going to generate revenue?
Yeah, in my experience in Montreal, we had a wood case good manufacturer there that made desks that we represent. It was called Standard Desk, maybe. And the French, you had to print everything. You had to print French catalogs and English, and so their desks were priced out of the marketplace. They weren't that great. I mean, they were a nice product, but they weren't.
Right.
They really weren't competitive because the French had made their company of their own non-competitive to put up all this pricing. It's crazy.
Right. So
God, they were rude, stinky people too.
So you just categorize all French Canadians as
Yeah, they put us up in this hotel, and kid you not, the outside was the train switch yard, which was like 7 million tracks in the middle of the night. And so my sister and I were business partners. So I looked at her and I said, "Where's the bar?" And so we went to the bar, and then I drank all the booze in the hotel room, and they were picking up the tab. So the guy came to pick us up, take us to the airport, and he's sitting there at the front desk checking the tab out. And he's like, "What the heck's going on here?" And I'm like, "You put us up at a decent place. I would have never done this."
Oh,
anyway,
so you didn't do a lot of business with Standard Desk.
No, we didn't keep that line very long.
All right, very nice. Very nice.
Anyway, all right, we're kind of a little flat tonight, but we're
shredding. You had me do some research. I'm waiting for you to.
Well, okay, so we had a little fun today, and this is kind of a school story, but I've got a couple gals, young students in my class that are cheerleaders, and I think cheerleading tryouts are happening.
Oh, okay.
And so
late. It must be for next
year. Yeah. Gotcha. And so the one gal, I had no idea she was a cheerleader this year, and she's going to try out again. And then the other gal is, let's just say, an athlete, and she cheers, and I knew she did, and I figured as much. So the one girl is a little bit of a full of herself, and so she says, "Yeah, Mr. Theus, I'm going to try out for cheerleading." I said, "Well, you know that's not a sport, right?" And she goes, "What are you talking about?" I said, "No, cheerleading is not a sport." And I looked at the other girl who I figured would catch on and smiled
Right.
at her, and so it started the debate. She goes,
Right.
you're crazy. It is too a sport." I said, "No, not a sport. There's no ball involved,
No
first of
ball.
all. And if there's no ball, it's got to be a sport." So we started to go through the list. And she goes, one kid goes, "What about chess?" And I'm like, "No, it's a game.
Yeah.
It's not a
Yeah.
sport. It's a game."
Right.
And so they're starting to, the smoke's coming out of their ears. They go, "Well, what about bowling?" I said, "Yeah, it's a sport. There's a ball involved and they compete with each other. That's a sport, albeit a air conditioned sport, but it's a sport." So we went on and on about what was the sport. Now it turns out Woody and I have a dear friend who early on kind of put this together, right?
He set 3 rules, core rules that either make it a sport or not a sport. And he was so focused on this, or so adamant about it, that he carried this list in his wallet so he could break it out at any time. In fact, texting him this evening to get those three rules, he was quick to text back. So either he's committed it to memory or it's still in his wallet.
Okay, so what's the
All right.
rules for whether something's a sport
All
or
right.
not?
Well, the first thing is, and I'm gonna have to read a little bit into his text just because I remember the argument so much. It has to be a definitive winner. In other words, it can't be a judged winner, right? It can't be, because we know how from the Olympics how that skews when, like, diving and gymnastics and
So it can't be judged
right. The
with
winner
a
can't be
point system.
determined. Right. And so in boxing, you say, oh, then boxing's not a sport. Well, it is when there's a knockout. It isn't when the judges decide.
So in
See,
that
so there's
split moment,
there's right.
you could be watching a sport or an event.
All of a sudden, when the round 10 of 10 ends, the bell rings, ESPN cuts it off because they're like, oh, it's not a sport anymore.
But wait,
We have to break away from this.
we can't cover tonight's. So what is it? A fight?
Oh, it's a knockout, so that's a definitive winner.
No,
Then
but
it's a
okay.
sport.
So before you get into all the rules,
Right.
like chess is a game. So that's
Well, we'll get into
enough.
where
Okay,
chess.
go through the rules. Set it up.
Okay. All right. And then so then the other I'm not necessarily agreeing with all these rules, but this was his thing. The energy must be human generated. No horses, dogs, and least of which no cars.
Oh,
And I always argued, well, the guy inside steering the car and pushing the pedals. But his thing was, it can't be, it has to be, the energy has to be human generated.
So the victory, we're talking about racing, NASCAR, or race car driving. So it's not like the guy's pulling the car around the track.
Or pushing the car around
pushing the car.
Right.
And if you were, then it would be a sport, but it's not.
Right.
What does that say for the 3 or 5 man bobsled?
That's because they get it up to speed with human energy, and then gravity takes over, right? So there is a human element to that, and it's kind of a natural energy, right? Gravity. I don't know where that plays in. Maybe we start a new segment called "Is It a Sport?" and people can send in their things, and we'll bring them on, and he can debate the merits of,
because he's the master. I mean, clearly. I mean, the guy's it's basically a doctorate degree, a PhD.
He could have gone to school, probably gotten a PhD based on those 3 rules.
What we'll have to do is we'll have to get Delbert and Steven, our mathematician physicist.
Yes. I bet you he'd agree with these, right? Unless he's a chess player, and then he'd be like, no.
Recap: rule number 1.
It has to be a definitive winner, no judge decides the winner.
Rule number
and
2.
Whatever energy is involved has to be human generated, not an animal or
mechanized vehicle,
or an engine for that matter. Right. And then the last one, and I didn't remember this, but maybe he needs to explain it a little bit more, but he says must be athletic. There must be an athletic nature to the sport. So in chess,
you have to sweat.
Right. So in chess, there's a definitive winner, unless it's what do they call stalemate?
Draw.
Well, there's another name for it, isn't there, in chess?
Oh boy, hold on, Alexa. What is it called in chess when neither opponent wins?
In chess, when neither opponent wins, it's called a draw. Did you know there are several ways a game can end in a draw?
No,
no, and I don't care.
Yeah, draw.
Right. So it's a definitive winner. The energy to move the pieces is technically human, but there's nothing athletic about it. So that's what chess.
So chess, not a sport.
Not a sport, because there's nothing anybody can move just about anybody. I don't want to count out, quadriplegics or anything along that nature, but there's no human, there's no athletic.
Well, you could have a robot play chess too, and that would
Yes, that's true. That's true. And we do on the computer all the time, right? Play chess on the computer with somebody. So, that's why chess does not fall in there. And of course, cheerleading, while it is athletic and the energy is human generated, a judge decides the winner. There is no definitive winner in cheerleading competitions, we'll say. So take that with you. I mean, this is not, this is not Dave and Woody's rules here. So don't drop. Well, please drop comments.
It's the master. I like to say the master.
The master.
Well, the fact that when he explained it to me, I think one night over the 4th or 5th beer, I don't remember.
All right.
And I was totally taken aback because at this point he's reached for his pocket and pulled this slip out.
Yeah, exactly.
Which started somewhat humorous in the beginning, but then I realized this man has set aside time. And
he may even what do they call it when you plasticize it?
Laminated.
He may have even laminated it at some point. There might have been lamination involved.
Well, if he's listening to the episode, we'll have to bring him back to the show as a special guest. Well,
like you said, we get a few comments on is it a sport or not, and we'll be happy to bring him on.
Yeah.
So drop it in the comments.
I like it. Anyway, so there was never a discussion about it being a ball involved.
I swear there was too. That's why and maybe while he was refining his theory early on, that was part of the thing. But then we started getting into ice hockey has a puck,
or badminton has a shuttlecock.
Right. Yeah. So, and both those are sports in these 3 definitions. So. Yeah, I'm guessing maybe the ball requirement of a ball being involved was scratched in favor
because of the 3. Yeah,
the
that tells you much higher level thinking. Is what that is.
Right. Yes, it means there was thought put into this. Wasn't just something thought up at Wally's and written down and carried around in his wallet for.
I would like to hear the backstory about how he came to this space.
Well, I do remember having these discussions because I being an auto racing fan for my life, always argued it was a sport, and I always get argument about that. Right, that's a famous one. Is it a sport or not? So I'm sure there was some genesis in that, and being that we hung out with the same people all the time, you start having the same conversations like, screw it, I'm writing down the rules and define this once and for all. I remember there was I'm sorry, there was a sports talk station here in town, and they were debating racing as a sport or not. And I emailed those 3 rules in, and the guy had to answer 1,000 emails a day, and he just wrote back, "Racing's a sport." That's all he said.
Well, because they probably pay for a lot of ads.
Probably, who knows? Anyhow, so there you go, people. And
Well,
for those who know Delbert, feel free to reach out and argue your point directly, or put it on here.
just another how we can help.
Yeah.
Bringing it to the forefront of the
So
conversation.
what else can we think of that's on ESPN? Have you ever watched ESPN Ocho?
8?
Yes.
No, but what about what is that wild and wacky sports they used to have? What was it called? Extreme, not extreme,
I don't know, but
like skateboarding.
well, that's that's trying to think what they call
Let's
that.
save that. I'd like to bring Mr. Delbert on.
Okay.
We gotta.
All right.
I'm gonna have to come up with a name for his theory.
Oh, just to give it some.
Yeah, because this could be something that you could write down in the annals, that of the history to make sure that everyone understands.
Well, like I said, I'm sure people have done papers on is it a sport or not. I don't doubt that. But to have a theory and a set of, this is like the scientific method.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is
right.
Deep. This is bigger than all of us.
But it's to be applied to sports. Most people probably just ponder if it's a sport or not. Here are some actual rules that can be followed to determine that or not. So, but I'd still say auto racing's a sport. So let's just leave it there.
Okay. All right, I can take that off my list. Done. Do you want to hear about the sleepover?
Oh, did you have one, buddy?
Yeah.
Did you get invited to a sleepover?
I did.
Oh, wow. Did you bring your sleepy bag and your jammies?
I brought a pillow.
And did you bring your underoos?
I had a knapsack.
Okay.
I had a little backpack. I packed a adopt kit.
Now I forget that name of that a bindle. A bindle.
Yeah, bindle. I was wondering what you were doing. The gesture there was a little creepy. For those of you watching on subscribe on YouTube.
Yeah, on YouTube, you might have seen my
caught his gesture. It was a little creepy.
Hopefully it won't be cut. But you got 3 minutes to get this done.
Boy. Okay, so I don't want to get into all the gory details, but I think we alluded to this last episode. If you haven't listened to it, go back and check it out. But one of our fraternity brothers has all these people live, for the most part, live in Orlando. And so one of the fellas has a daughter, son-in-law, and grandbaby near where I live. And so they decided, he and his wife, to buy a home, a second, third, I don't know how many homes they got, but a second home to be near the grandbaby. So instead of going up, to the daughter's house, and being under their feet, they have a place to retreat to and, have their own time. Anyway, so he and Tim, Alan and Tim were going to be in Jacksonville for a Sigma Chi North Florida training episode where they bring in the local active chapters. And they teach them how to be consul and queester, those kind of breakout sessions. And don't say it. I brought it up and I got beat up for it. It did not go over well. It was like a lead balloon. Anyway, how not to do something, but don't do it. So Alan said, "Hey, listen, we're going to be in town. What are you doing Saturday night?" And so, whatever. So he called Jackson, who happened to be at Flagler Beach, just down the way, I think at the in-laws, and he called Matt up the way in Nassau County, and we all converged at Casa de Middleburg.
Oh.
And so I told him, "Listen, I'll be in charge of Uber, of transportation, since it's my hometown, and I'll." The problem with Clay County, we roll up the streets about 10 o'clock. There's not much going on.
I mean, like most small rural communities do.
Yeah, but we have a nice golf club that we took the Uber over to have dinner, and it's a sports bar. Of course, that's the Masters that week was going on, so we were all kind of tuned in to what was going on there. And I had a premonition. I said that Rory McIlroy was going to win it, and I guess what I had heard was last year he won it, and I caught an old newsreel, and I thought the Masters had already completed. And so I saw that McIlroy won it, And I'm like, he's already won it. What are you talking about? And they're all like,
well, he was up 6 shots on Friday night. So
yeah, he kind of blew it though a little bit.
Yeah,
though,
he did on Saturday. I was thinking it was Saturday. He was up. I'm like, well, no, duh. He was gonna.
How about the guy got 2 hole-in-ones, man? That's pretty cool.
Just one.
No, he got 2. I thought.
No, he had one. He's had 2 at the Masters. One a couple years ago, and one this past.
Oh, I thought he had 2 in one tournament. Anyway,
Shane Lowry, I think his name.
Yeah,
is, right? Yeah.
So, of course, Alan's got a bar down in Orlando, and he brought he brought this
a selection.
Well, he brought some Bullet, but he brought a Barrel Select, was actually pretty good. It was actually very tasty, which I like a lot. But the problem is I'm on this plant, this diet.
Yeah.
I'd already started the diet, and bourbon is so full of carbohydrates. So I told my coach, I said, I'm taking a day off. It's just going to happen.
A me day.
Yeah, and it turned out okay. The reality was I was able to get back on. But hold on for a second, real quick.
You purged it a few hours later.
So Alan had purchased this bottle of bourbon called Fred J. Ford Exclusive, and it's honoring 55 years of the Eta Iota chapter of Sigma Chi. So, like when we had our 50th year anniversary, I think Jeff Borzowitz over at Corona Cigar did a nice Constantine cigar for us. I don't know if you were aware of that.
All right. Now I don't smoke, so that's probably why.
Yeah. So this guy put together this bottle of bourbon, 90 proof, cute little bottle. It's got a dog named Fred on the front. I guess that was something to do with their chapter.